Continuing from part 1, with the scene where the male lead meets the female lead at the prison. Smelling the faint scent of roses lingering in the air, he knows this woman is from the Enoden family. As they share a common purpose, he wants her to entrust the child to him. Hillis looks at him coldly. "How can I trust you?" she asks. He introduces himself as Axanon Burzit, confident that she understands the weight of his name. Hillis remains silent. The situation mirrors a past encounter where she accepted an invitation from a man, but this time, she only wants to be alone. Opening his palm to use his special ability, Axanon apologizes, saying they'll meet again. In the blink of an eye, she hugs the child and disappears into the sky. Simultaneously, the banquet is halfway through. Hillis' father is furious, and her future brother-in-law complains that he hasn't been able to enter the Enoden house recently. Hillis' father explains that it was unintentional, and due to the sudden manifestation of Ricardo's abilities, causing the incident. Fortunately, Chris is not foolish. Despite efforts, he still wants to cancel the engagement. The elderly father feels more lost than ever. How can a family's engagement be changed immediately? Diego is gradually engulfed by the outburst. Chris's words make it clear he witnessed someone using Blossom. Why does he have to argue so much as a father? Seeing the future, Ricardo remains persistent. Just as everyone is rejoicing at the party, roses in the sky, written with the wind on the wall, slowly descend with a boy in arms. Only Chris recognizes her. The woman in the green dress is surprised until she sees the pink gem fall at her feet. It's then that she realizes the boy in her arms is the long-lost treasure for their family. "This is my birthday gift to you. Take good care of the child," she says before turning into a rose and disappearing into the party. Another man appears, but unfortunately, he is a step too late. The woman he wanted to meet has disappeared, but he spotted Enoden in the crowd. When she arrived and he left, the designated heir had changed. Now, everyone in the world knows that the heir of the Enoden family is not Ricardo. How towering is the shadow of the elderly father at this moment? The man is furious that his daughter caused a commotion, disrupting the plan to make his son the heir. It's all over now, but his daughter is still indifferent, mood unaffected. "I want a reasonable explanation," he demands. Hillis remains silent, looking at the wasted drink. Dogs won't bother their owner's meals, which is irritating. She explains that it was simply a birthday gift and questions if there's a problem. Numerous times, the arrogant daughter has gotten into trouble, and her father thinks it's time to teach her a lesson. Unconcerned, Hillis quickly reveals her special ability, as if no one can do anything about it. When two layers of roses entwine, it's evident that her father was too distracted when he arrived. Seemingly, the power of oneself is continually being controlled by the system. His roses gradually start to wither, and Hillis seizes the opportunity, having already consumed the diamond she received earlier, the tears of Kalisha. This is also the secret of that family, but she doesn't know how to harness the power from the gem. Eating it directly seems to be the solution. The energy of a person can not only be significantly enhanced but can also absorb the strength of others. Except for the Kalisha family, no one knows about this ability. Her father lies on the ground, bewildered like a child. It's unbelievable what just happened, and as long as the power is strong enough, she doesn't need to specify it. The moonlight mark of the family appears on Hillis' body, and she looks at her father as a victor. From now on, she is the head of the family. The angry and frightened father has no authority to turn back now. Ricardo, her elder brother, arrives and still doesn't understand the situation. In a childish manner, he wants her sister to apologize to their father. If not, he won't let her go. Ricardo tries to intervene, but it's challenging under Hillis' pressure. "From now on, this house is mine. If you're not satisfied, you can leave." Of course, Hillis knows that her brother lacks the courage to do so. Looking at the current situation, Gabrielle was terrified as the family fell apart. How will she manage her family in the future? In fact, the current outcome has been foreseen by Hillis from her 7th lifetime. She will wait for this house. Now that she has gained control over everything, she wonders why she experiences it so many times. She wants to do what she couldn't in her past life. Complete everything this time. But before that, she needs to buy some clothes. She'll prepare right away, but there's always someone caring. Asking the woman if she needs a check before going out, Hillis declines. No need. Hillis stands up, leaving the house. Roy and the family are blown away by the rose petals. Displaying seriousness, Hillis has been gone for a while. Some are surprised, and the woman in her nightgown rushes out. A girl in a nightgown with roses and special effects has become a lively topic in the Empire. It also sparks strong interest in the male protagonist. Lately, he has been dreaming about a girl who laughs like a maniac, killing with a human smile. Until he meets Hillis, he finally knows who that girl is. Eager to go to Cilicia with friends, he warns that it would be better if that girl is willing. He's sure he'll regret getting involved with her because he has seen something in her. The male lead is not only unafraid but more interested. It doesn't take long for him to have a reason to go to Cilicia. The young master has been unconscious for over half a month and finally wakes up. Being paralyzed by the villain for so long, he no longer trusts anyone, not the members of the Cilicia family, all of whom have eyes that can see into the human soul. But the child cannot see through, so now he is terrified. He doesn't know that the eye of truth cannot see through those in the family. He cries and begs to meet Hillis, the sister who is the purest and most sincere. Violetta, the cousin, is a bit worried, and the cousin has seen through her troubles. He has to take the person to find the girl he wants to meet. Of course, Violetta wouldn't allow it. Both resisted until Axion arrived. Even though he didn't ask anything, he could guess the current situation. Axion explains the situation to the boy and helps him calm down. Especially with his truthful face, the boy can see that Axion is entirely sincere. But at this moment, Hillis is at the store, causing a stir each time she appears there. However, money is not an issue for her. Decisively, she instructs the store staff to immediately send all the clothes to her house. In the blink of an eye, we arrive at the royal palace. This is something the first deity created. It's a place known to large families and nobility, with 99 gates, each connecting to a different space. For example, Gate Saint number 44 is a prison, where Hillis was in her previous life. Lastly, the most special place is Gate Saint number 99, which only the two heads of the four major families can open. Hillis takes out a red gemstone. The reason she wants to try it is that the gemstone has the ability to suppress humans, but perhaps it won't affect the gates. Chris suddenly appears. Today is the day their families gather here. Seeing Hillis standing there in her nightgown, Chris rushes over, teasing her about her newly red hair and fitting coat. Hillis immediately brushes off Chris's hand, apologizing and stating she won't marry him. Returning to one of Hillis' lifetimes where she and Chris were engaged, she realizes that men's words are lies. Chris says he likes her and insists she goes home with him, claiming she's the only one for him. Hillis easily falls for Chris's sweet words, and when he brings her home to Parvanon, she experiences warmth and care she had never had before. Chris believes she is the happiest woman in the world, and she drowns in the blissful ignorance. He thinks that as long as there is love, there is no problem, even if he's called a fool. She puts her entire heart and soul into Chris, and in return, she receives indifference and deceit. One day, Hillis accidentally overhears the truth that Chris only used her to create a child inheriting two types of power. This means that as long as there is a baby, Hillis is no longer important, and she could even be killed. Hillis is fearful upon hearing the truth. Chris acts as if nothing happened, still being warm towards her, and says, "Did you hear anything?" "Right, I deliberately opened the door so that Hillis could hear." "So, what if I heard? Isn't Hillis still in love with me like a fool?" "Sometimes, it's better to love modestly. The deeper, the better. But this time, I hate you." Hillis doesn't want to be involved with this man anymore. Back to reality, perhaps that's just a part of Hillis' memories. While talking, Hillis becomes uncomfortable looking at Chris and asserts her strong dislike for him. She transforms into a rose and disappears in front of him. The more difficult it is to obtain something, the more you want it. Rejected twice by the same woman, Chris doesn't dare to get angry. Instead, he's genuinely intrigued by this woman. Hillis has just returned home, and there are many guests waiting for her, the Cilicia siblings and Axion from the Burzet family. Margo is excited to see Hillis and immediately rushes over to hug her. Violetta explains the situation and why they came in such a hurry. She also wants to greet the head of the Enoden family. "No, from now on, I will represent the family," Hillis declares, surprising everyone. Not saying much, she is very curious about the Burzet family. Why did he come here with the Cilicia family? He answers that it's because of the message from the previous time. Because in the dark prison, Hillis had spoken. And their purpose for this trip, Terzo wants Hillis to explain everything to Margo. This child doesn't trust her family at all. Margot's mother is Violetta's sister, and she was expelled from the family because she was dissatisfied with the arranged marriage. There is no accurate information about her son. Violetta shows a current photo of her sister, trying to awaken Margot's memories. Still, Margo has no impression, not even remembering her own name. Violetta is saddened by his words. What kind of strange experiences has this child been through? Simply by holding Margot's small hand, no one can bully his anymore. She will protect his with her life and give his a home he deserves. Hope that Margo will trust her family. Margo doesn't know how to choose, and he can't know if what the woman says is true or false. He turns back and whispers to Hillis. Hillis va Margo have an agreement, which Hillis never forgets. She proposes that Margo returns to Kalisha and starts a new life. If at that time, he still wants to die, Hillis promises to keep her word and kill Margo. Margo, oblivious to what has happened to Hillis, is still in a dreamlike state, trying to accept everything. However, Hillis is the only one who understands his. This is also the first time Margo feels warmth. Tears slide down the smooth slope. He agrees to go back to Kalisha. It turns out that the child's name is Margo. In an instant, Axion lifts his leg for a moment, assessing Hillis' past behavior in the dark prison. It's as if he has known the child for a long time, including my name. Hillis, can you tell me why? Axion asks. Hillis replies, I only love those I care about, Margo, no one knows the existence of the child. Hillis found and rescued his precisely. It's challenging not to arouse everyone's suspicion, and they are all afraid she knows about the power of the gem. However, this doesn't matter to Hillis. She explains that she accidentally discovered Margo's existence and didn't hide any gems at home. It's a loophole in the truth's face. Regardless, her mission is to save others, and now it's Kalisha's turn to repay Hillis. She wants the Kalisha family to lead to the Four Seasons Forest. Unfortunately, the current head of the Kalisha family is not in good health and may not agree. Hillis outwardly says there's no need to force it, but she feels a bit panicked. In case of rejection, no matter what, she has to go to the Four Seasons Forest. Axion doesn't understand why they have to go with the head of the Kalisha family. If they want to enter, isn't he the best choice? Let's go back a bit to Hillis' memories. At that time, Hillis was only 12 years old, while Axion, the head of the Burzit family, was just 15. Despite his young age, Axion carried himself with an air of grandeur that made Hillis too afraid to look him in the eye. Their first meeting was not marked by much communication. Since Hillis became the head of the family, her elderly father lay in bed unable to get up, and her brother confined himself to his room all day. The current dog in the house remained as usual. Don't worry, sis. I'll help you take care of Dad and your brother, reassured Hillis' friend. Everything was resolved through love, and the news was promptly conveyed to the four major family clans. Now was the time to announce the new owner of Enoden. In the blink of an eye, they arrived at the Four Seasons Forest, as agreed upon. Hillis looked at the person at the top of the stairs, feeling a mix of emotions due to her limited experience in her previous life. They had just switched places, and Axion felt a similar unease. Hillis' body emitted an unusual aura, always making him feel danger, but it didn't stop them from holding hands. To enter the Four Seasons Forest required physical contact between the heads of the two families. Regardless, they held hands. Just as they were about to proceed, Chris appeared. He felt as if his wife had been taken away but noticed Axion paid no attention. Let's go, said Hillis, seemingly content with their overall relationship. Chris was angry, but it had nothing to do with Hillis. She just wanted to find a quick way to end her life. On a Saturday, a close friend informed her about the existence of the Four Seasons Forest and the magical books of the four major families that might reveal her reincarnation fate. However, at that time, she was not the head of the family, and until death, she wouldn't have the chance to enter the Four Seasons Forest. Finally, the time had come, but why was this place so beautiful? She was here to find a way to die. In reality, he was a good person with a cold face and a warm heart. There were 5 gates here. What could enter and what couldn't? The waiting room is located where everything has been explained clearly. Hillis can also sense Axion's deliberately warm enthusiasm. You truly are a good person. This statement touched Axion's heart deeply. Maybe this is the first time I've heard words like these, but it doesn't matter. Reincarnated 8 times, Hillis just wants to find a way to do it quickly. However, the diary left by the head of the family seems to be just a frivolous competition among noble families. I really didn't find any useful information. Stepping out, she noticed the seal on the door. Suddenly, she remembered Axion's reminder: without the consent of other family leaders, outsiders were not allowed into these rooms. There might be what she was looking for inside, but it wasn't necessary. As predicted, there was a thunderous prohibition when she got too close. The mystery of the seal made one want to test it further, and Hillis could resist it by activating her abilities. Lightning flashed far away. Axion suddenly pulled her from behind. Back then, he had tried it just like her, never listening to colleagues' advice. In the end, he failed despite being injured all over. Curious about her companion, Hillis wondered who it was. Upon hearing the name, she smiled and started talking. It was her father, but she smiled inwardly, as if she had seen something she shouldn't have. As they were about to leave, Hillis again heard the mournful words next to her. Those who stepped into the divine lightning beam had to prove that they were chosen, like a fortune teller predicting luck. You must test everything yourself, Hillis whispered. Sure enough, as he turned around, Hillis cut a portion of her hair. Seeing the hair's ineffectiveness, she widened her palm, and when Axion tried to stop it, she cut her hand. A drop of blood fell on the coffin. Axion grabbed her hand. What are you doing? He asked. I just wanted to try a little bit, Hillis replied nonchalantly, not in a hurry or busy. Do you have to test everything yourself? She heard someone say that the woman was afraid he would take her blood. A request for him to leave. The wound would heal itself. He took a breath. That's really worrisome. He pulled out a black velvet pouch from around his neck. The wound was professionally bandaged. I'm a kind person, you don't need to care too much, Axion said. However, how could Hillis not care? Perhaps, it all started from here, and their feelings for each other were deepening day by day. As they stepped out, the sky had turned into twilight. Axion suddenly asked a shocking question, have we met here before? Perhaps what he said was truly amusing. Hillis wanted to leave quickly. Maybe it's your misunderstanding, she expressed her gratitude. The blindness disappeared before your eyes. There was a bit of disappointment in Axion. Was it really an illusion? Hillis looked at the wound, reminding her of her third life. As a awakened power daughter, her father went mad because of it, wanting the son to inherit the family's position. Her father forced her to take medicine every day, wanting to transfer the power to her brother. To get it, the daughter had to obediently take the medicine, even though it had a bright red color and made her feel very wrong. But her father said it was the only way to transfer the power to her brother. Even poisonous medicine was fine at first, but it gradually weakened her. Her body became increasingly frail, nosebleeds were frequent, and she would die soon. However, her father only cared that the power hadn't disappeared. Taking a bunch of medicine, just shove